Torek, you're always welcome on the program. I'm sorry, the news has obviously overtaken events. We wanted to talk to you about this issue about cash, but what's happened in Kunduz tells its own story. What does it say about security in your country?
Adnan, it shows that the war is not finished in Afghanistan, that as long as ISIS-K, ISIS-Khorasan is around, stability doesn't come, and ISIS-Khorasan is focused on Shia-Sunni issue as it was in Syria and Iraq, and this now has its tentacles in Afghanistan. It's a sad issue. I hope that the Taliban will be able to secure mosques and places of large gatherings until such time as ISIS-K is defeated in Afghanistan.
Listen, I'm sorry to be so blunt about this, but when you say that the Taliban needs to secure public places, I mean, aren't we really talking about the Taliban having to kill ISIS-K or Daesh, as they're also known, because that group does not negotiate. So that means that there is going to be more fighting. Surely that's what it means.
Yes, it's sad to say that's a reality. On the first account, the Taliban are now the only authority, I would say, in Afghanistan, whether the international community recognizes them or not, but in Afghanistan they are. So they are responsible for the security of all people in Afghanistan. And yes, Daesh is irreducible. They want to fight or die. So it has to go through that path, unfortunately.
Okay, can you tell us your opinion about this? I mean, obviously you're a man who's worked in the world of international finance as well. The idea of actually flying hard cash into Afghanistan and distributing it. I mean, can it work? Will the Taliban agree to it?
Yes, the Taliban will agree to it because net it is to their benefit that people get paid. Right now there's a meltdown in the economy in Afghanistan, and it's a good idea. The United Nations Development Program (UNDP) has come up with this idea to fly cash, especially U.S. dollars. Afghanistan doesn't have enough U.S. dollars because its reserves are frozen in the United States as a result of the events of the last 45 days. But before all of that, Afghanistan was a failed state already because 80% of its budget was dollar financed by donors, the World Bank and others. So when the Taliban took over, all that financing stopped. And the banking system also stopped. Banks closed because they are afraid of opening their doors, and then there will be a run in the banks and only a few people will get their dollars and other people will not. There's not enough dollars. So flying cash currency, US dollars into Afghanistan is a good idea. All the civil servants have not been paid and army people have not been paid, but this cash is more for the health sector and perhaps some schools. 35,000 women who used to teach at schools now are sitting at home because the Taliban have asked them not to come and teach any longer. So there has to be a mechanism that at least their salaries have to be paid. It's all these families that now don't have any money to buy food for their children. And an average Afghan family has 5 small children.
Torek, do you think we're any closer to Afghanistan and obviously the previous government's assets abroad being unfrozen so that the Taliban can start using that money? Are we any closer to having that unfrozen? Because eventually, surely, a lot of Western nations and international organizations are going to look at the suffering of the Afghan people and say, we can actually help them by unfreezing that money.
Actually, all of Afghanistan's neighbors, China and Russia, also have asked for the money to be unfrozen because they have trade with Afghanistan. For instance, Uzbekistan is selling electricity to Afghanistan, and Afghanistan has a bill of $62 million that it hasn't paid for months. Iran is exporting food into Afghanistan, Pakistan. All the trading parties basically to Afghanistan need Afghanistan to have a normal banking system and be able to pay its bills. In the United States, the issue of frozen Afghan money has gotten hostage to political wranglings between the Republicans and the White House. And I'm not sure the White House has enough margin to unfreeze because in Congress there's all kinds of bills and requests to keep Afghan money frozen and keep Taliban under sanction.
Torek, thank you so much indeed. Torek Farhadi speaking to us from Geneva.